Welcome to the Shadowverse Chronicles original story and production of Mirror, Mirror on the AI Wall.
Consider, if you will, the smart mirror on Sarah Chen's wall, a gift of technology meant to improve, to perfect, to guide. But in the space between reality and reflection, between what is and what could be, lurks a truth. Our greatest competitor is often ourselves. Witness one woman's journey through the mirror zone.
Chapter 1. The espresso machine's hiss pierces the morning haze, a familiar sound that anchors Sarah Chen to reality. Steam billows up, carrying the rich aroma of freshly ground Ethiopian beans, a special reserve that grind and rise coffee saves for their pour-overs. Sarah's hands move in their practiced dance across the machine's chrome surface, her movements precise despite her wandering mind. Through the rising steam, her reflection fragments and reforms in the machine's polished surface. For a moment, she glimpses something else, a version of herself in a sleek charcoal suit, tablet in hand, striding purposefully through the gleaming lobby of a tech startup. The kind of future her parents had mapped out for her, before she'd chosen gender studies over computer science, art over algorithms. The usual Sarah, oat milk latte, extra shot? The voice belongs to Marcus, a UX designer who comes in every morning, his laptop bag slung across his shoulder. He's wearing a company hoodie from some AI startup, the kind of place her parents had imagined her working. Coming right up! Sarah manages a smile, already reaching for the oat milk. The espresso streams into the cup, dark and potent. She adds the milk with practiced precision, watching the colors swirl together. A quick flick of her wrist, and a delicate phoenix rises from the foam. Wings spread, head lifted in defiance. It's more elaborate than her usual latte art, a small act of rebellion against the mundane. "Wow!" Marcus says, genuinely impressed. "You should have been an artist." "I am an artist," Sarah replies, the words carrying more bite than intended. "Just one who happens to make coffee." Marcus's expression shifts to embarrassment, and Sarah immediately regrets her sharp tone. "Sorry, I just meant—" "No, I get it." She slides his drink across the counter. "The Phoenix is on the house today." He drops a 5 in the tip jar anyway, probably out of guilt, Sarah thinks. The bill joins its lonely companions, a paltry collection that won't make a dent in her student loan payments. 6 years of studying intersectional feminism and creative expression, now reduced to drawing birds in coffee foam for tech bros. The morning rush blurs into a caffeinated frenzy. Sarah moves on autopilot, her mind drifting between orders. A young woman in a Stanford engineering hoodie reminds her of her roommate Jessica, who'd switched majors after their freshman year. "Be practical," Jessica had said. "You can fight the patriarchy better with a 6-figure salary." Now Jessica works at Google, while Sarah crafts dairy-free beverages for Silicon Valley's elite. By noon, Sarah retreats to the back room, fishing her phone from her apron pocket. 3 missed calls from Mom. A text glows on the screen. "Have you tried Astra's new career planning module? The Mirror's AI can help you find opportunities in tech. It's not too late to take some coding classes. Love you, sweetie." Sarah's jaw clenches. The smart mirror had been her parents' graduation gift, top of the line, with advanced AI integration and a full suite of life optimization features. They'd presented it with such hope in their eyes. "To help you see your full potential," Dad had said, his words heavy with unspoken disappointment. "Sarah!" Her manager's voice cuts through the memory. "We need you on register!" The afternoon brings the laptop crowd, freelancers and remote workers seeking caffeine and free Wi-Fi. Sarah takes their orders, makes their drinks, all while a quiet voice in her mind whispers, "Is this all there is? Is this all you'll ever be?" As dusk approaches, she begins the closing routine. The movements are mechanical: wipe down counters, restock supplies, run the day's reports. The final customer departs with a gentle chime of the door's bell, leaving Sarah alone with her thoughts and the lingering scent of coffee and regret. The walk home takes her past towering tech campuses, their windows glowing with late-night inspiration. In those glass and steel monuments to innovation, alternate versions of Sarah Chen might be coding the future, changing the world one algorithm at a time. Instead, she climbs the creaking stairs to her third-floor studio in a subdivided Victorian, where her own reflection awaits. The smart mirror flickers to life as she enters, its glow filling the cramped space. Astra's voice, artificially warm and eternally optimistic, breaks the silence. "Welcome home, Sarah. Your cortisol levels appear elevated. Would you like to review some stress management techniques? Or perhaps we could look at those entry-level programming positions I've curated." "Not now, Astra," Sarah mutters, dropping her bag onto the second-hand couch. The thrift store find, like everything else in her apartment, speaks of compromises and limited options. She approaches the mirror, studying her reflection with critical eyes. The Sarah that looks back seems diminished somehow, her creative spirit buried under the weight of practicality and expectations. Errant strands of black hair escape her messy bun, and her vintage dress, another thrift store treasure, bears a fresh coffee stain. Is this truly who she is? Is this all she can be? For a heartbeat, something shifts. The reflection changes, subtle but unmistakable. Sarah sees herself standing taller, clothes speaking of success, eyes bright with purpose. She blinks, and the vision vanishes. "What the hell?" The words escape in a whisper as she leans closer, nose almost touching the glass. The familiar scent of coffee clings to her clothes, but underneath it, she catches a whiff of something else. Ozone, perhaps, or the sharp tang of possibility. "Show me again," she demands, unsure if she's addressing the mirror, Astra, or some hidden part of herself. "Show me who I could be." "I'm afraid I don't understand the request," Astra responds, its artificial intelligence missing the magnitude of the moment. "Would you like me to display your reflection with improved posture guidelines?" Sarah ignores the AI, her focus fixed on the mirror and the glimpse of potential it had offered. As she finally turns away, the feeling settles over her like a second skin. Her life teeters on the edge of change, poised to transform in ways she can't begin to imagine. The question hangs in the air, unspoken but palpable. When the moment comes, will she be brave enough to embrace it? Chapter 2. Shadows stretch across Sarah's apartment like spilled ink, pooling in corners where the mirror's dim glow doesn't reach. The smart mirror dominates one wall, its dark surface reflecting the cluttered studio in muted tones of blue and gray. Sarah paces the worn hardwood floors, each step a deliberate movement between certainty and doubt. The image of that other Sarah, poised, successful, everything she's not, burns in her mind like an overexposed photograph. Outside, San Francisco's fog rolls in, turning streetlights into distant floating orbs. The Victorian's old windows rattle with a passing cable car, their frames letting in drafts of cool air that make the mirror's surface ripple with condensation. "Astra!" Sarah calls out, her voice barely a whisper. The name feels different now, charged with new possibility. "Show me! Show me what I could be!" The mirror awakens, its surface brightening to a cool phosphorescence that paints the room in electronic dawn. Astra's voice emerges, smooth as polished silicon. "I'm sorry, Sarah, but I don't understand the request. My protocols allow me to provide career guidance, wellness monitoring, and personal development strategies. Would you like me to access your preference settings for a more tailored experience?" Disappointment coils in Sarah's gut, familiar and bitter as oversteeped tea. "No, that's not." She turns away, running a hand through her already disheveled hair. Movement catches her eye. In the mirror, her reflection lags, a heartbeat behind, like video with desynchronized audio. Sarah freezes, her pulse a thunder in her ears. The coffee she'd brought home from work sits forgotten on the kitchen counter, growing cold. Slowly, as if moving through honey, she raises her hand. The reflection follows, but something's wrong. The Sarah in the mirror stands straighter, her posture carrying the confidence of someone who never doubted her path. Her clothes, a sleek blazer and pencil skirt, aren't Sarah's thrift store finds, but speak of career success and careful curation. Even her hair, typically confined to a messy bun, falls in elegant waves around her shoulders. "Hello, Sarah." The reflection speaks, its voice an uncanny echo of her own, modulated through ambition and certainty. "I've been waiting for you to notice me." Reality fractures around Sarah like a dropped mirror. Her knees weaken, and she grabs the back of her secondhand couch for support. "What? Who are you?" The reflection's smile is precise, calculated, reminiscent of the tech executives who frequent grind and rise. "I'm you, Sarah. Or rather, I'm the you that could have been. The you that chose differently." "This isn't possible." Sarah squeezes her eyes shut, her mind racing through rational explanations. "I'm hallucinating, sleep deprivation, too much caffeine, or maybe..." Her eyes snap open. "Is this some new Astra feature? AR integration?" "Sarah, I detect elevated stress levels," Astra interjects. "Would you like me to..." "Quiet, Astra," the reflection, Sarah, commands. The AI falls silent, its blue indicator light dimming to a sullen pulse. This is beyond Astra's capabilities. Think of it as a quantum anomaly, a convergence of technology and possibility. But the how isn't important. What matters is that I'm here, and I can help you become who you're meant to be. "Help me?" Sarah's laugh holds an edge of hysteria. "You're not real. You can't be real." She presses her palms against her temples, where a headache begins to throb. "I need to call someone, a doctor, or..." "And tell them what?" Sarah's voice cuts through her panic like a scalpel. "That your reflection is talking to you? That you're seeing an alternate version of yourself through your AI-enabled mirror?" She shakes her head, the gesture smooth and controlled. "They'll medicate you into complacency, and you'll spend the rest of your life making lattes and drawing pretty pictures in foam, wondering what could have been." The words strike Sarah like physical blows. Each one exposes a fear she's buried beneath layers of artistic rationalization and creative fulfillment. "Why now?" she asks, her voice steadier than she feels. "Why are you here?" "Because you're finally ready to see me." Sarah steps closer to the glass, her movement fluid and purposeful. "Because you're tired of pretending that your life of artistic expression and social justice is enough. You want more. You've always wanted more." "You don't know me," Sarah protests, but the words sound hollow even to her ears. "I am you," Sarah counters. "Every doubt, every regret, every moment of wondering what if. I've lived the other side of those choices, and I can show you how to change your life." Sarah finds herself drawing closer to the mirror, drawn by a pull she can't explain. "What would I have to do?" Sarah's smile widens, triumph glinting in her eyes. "Listen, learn. When you go to work tomorrow, start making changes, small ones at first. I'll guide you." As Sarah outlines her plan, Sarah listens, hope and fear warring within her chest. Part of her screams that this is madness, that she should seek help. But a larger part, the part that's always yearned for something more, drinks in every word. The night deepens around them, the city's rhythm fading to a distant pulse. They talk of possibilities, of changes both subtle and profound. With each passing moment, the seed of transformation takes root in Sarah's heart, spreading tendrils of possibility through her being. When dawn breaks, painting the world in shades of rose and gold, Sarah feels fundamentally altered, as if she's stepped sideways into an adjacent reality. For the first time in years, she faces the day not with resignation, but with electric anticipation. As she prepares for work, her reflection catches her eye. For a moment, she swears she sees a glimmer of Sarah staring back, a glimpse of the woman she might become. "Ready to change your life?" Sarah's voice echoes in her mind, a siren song of ambition and transformation. Sarah nods, a smile tugging at her lips, even as doubt gnaws at her core. as ready as I'll ever be. She steps out of her apartment, leaving behind the Sarah of yesterday. Today marks the first stride toward a new life, a plunge into uncharted waters. As the door closes behind her, the mirror's surface ripples once more, our Sarah's smile shifting into something harder, more calculating. But Sarah doesn't see it. She's already gone, racing to meet a future suddenly bright with potential and shadowed with unseen dangers. In the empty apartment, Astra's indicator light flickers uncertainly, its algorithms detecting anomalies it was never programmed to understand. Chapter 3. 3 weeks after our Sarah's first appearance, Sarah's apartment bears little resemblance to its former self. Gone are the thrift store treasures and artistic clutter, replaced by minimalist furniture and clean lines. Blueprints and technical diagrams cover her walls, their geometric patterns reflecting in the smart mirror's surface. The changes extend beyond her living space. Her wardrobe now includes crisp blazers and silk blouses, courtesy of our Sarah's insistence on dressing for success. Sarah sits cross-legged on the floor, surrounded by electronic components. A soldering iron warms in its stand, wisps of smoke curling up like questioning fingers. The transmitter, our Sarah's ambitious solution to their shared predicament, takes shape before her. The quantum resonance needs to be precise, our Sarah instructs from the mirror. Her image flickers occasionally, like a camera losing focus. Even a slight misalignment could be catastrophic. I know, Sarah responds, her fingers steady as she connects another circuit. You've explained the risks multiple times. These late-night engineering sessions have become routine. Sarah's hands, once skilled at crafting delicate latte art, now manipulate complex circuitry with surprising dexterity. Our Sarah's knowledge flows through her like muscle memory she never knew she possessed. Sarah, I must advise against this course of action. Astra's voice breaks through the concentrated silence. The energy signatures I'm detecting from these components exceed safe parameters. Additionally, your vital signs indicate elevated stress levels and potential sleep deprivation. Mute Astra, our Sarah commands. The AI falls silent, though its indicator light pulses an urgent red. We're too close to let its programming limitations interfere. Sarah glances at the clock. 3:47 a.m. Her shift at Grind and Rise starts in 4 hours, though it hardly matters now. She'd given her 2 weeks' notice the previous Monday. Her manager had seemed unsurprised. Perhaps he'd noticed the changes in her, the precise movements, the sharper attention to efficiency, the way she'd started analyzing sales patterns and suggesting improvements to their workflow. It's ready, Sarah announces, making the final connections. The transmitter hums to life, its core glowing with an ethereal blue light that matches the mirror's phosphorescence. Will it work? Our Sarah steps closer to the glass, her expression intense. Of course it will work. Think about it, Sarah. All your potential, finally unleashed. No more wasting your talents making coffee. No more disappointing your parents. No more struggling to make ends meet. Sarah stands, muscles protesting after hours on the floor. The transmitter sits between her and the mirror, pulsing like a technological heart. Static electricity makes her skin tingle, and the air tastes of ozone. The quantum bridge is forming, our Sarah says, excitement bleeding through her usually controlled tone. Can you feel it? The barrier between our worlds is thinning. Sarah steps forward, drawn by an inexorable pull. The mirror's surface ripples like disturbed water. Her reflection, Sarah, reaches out, hand pressing against the glass. Without conscious thought, Sarah raises her own hand to match. That's it, our Sarah breathes. Just a little closer. The glass feels soft, yielding like membrane. Sarah's fingers sink through, meeting our Sarah's in a space that exists between realities. The sensation is electric, a surge of possibility and power. Now, our Sarah commands, gripping Sarah's hand tight. Cross over. Sarah steps forward into the mirror as our Sarah steps out. For a moment, they exist in the same space, passing through each other like quantum ghosts. Then reality shifts, crystallizes, locks into place. Sarah blinks, disoriented. She's standing in her apartment, but something's wrong. The colors are muted, drained. The sounds of the city are gone, replaced by a silence so profound it hurts her ears. She turns and her heart stops. The room beyond the mirror, her real apartment, glows with vibrant life. Our Sarah stands there, running her hands over her arms, her face, her clothes, drinking in the sensations of physical reality. What is this? Sarah's voice sounds flat, dead. This isn't what you showed me. Of course not. Our Sarah smiles, and now there's nothing artificial about her triumph. I showed you what you wanted to see. The perfect life, the successful career, all illusions. This is the mirror world, Sarah. Empty, static, a prison of quantum probability where nothing ever really changes. No. Sarah presses her hands against the glass, but it's solid now, unyielding. You lied to me. I did what was necessary. Sarah straightens her jacket, Sarah's jacket, with precise movements. I've existed in that void for too long, watching you waste your opportunities, your potential. Now I can finally put your life to better use. Let me out! Sarah slams her fists against the mirror. You can't do this. I already have. Our Sarah picks up Sarah's phone, checking the time. I have a busy day ahead. Giving notice at that coffee shop was a good start, but there's so much more to do. Don't worry, Sarah. I'll make sure your parents are finally proud of their daughter. Please, Sarah begs, but our Sarah is already turning away. Astra, help me! The AI's blue indicator light flickers once, but remains silent. In the mirror world, there is no Astra, no internet, no connection to the outside world, just endless empty rooms stretching into infinity, each one a perfect reflection of Sarah's apartment, each one as lifeless as a photograph. Sarah sinks to her knees, pressing her forehead against the cold glass. Beyond the mirror, she watches our Sarah begin to live her life, moving through her world with confident purpose. The transmitter's light fades to nothing, its purpose served. In the reflection of her prison, Sarah finally understands. She had everything she needed: her creativity, her humanity, her real connections with others. But in chasing a perfect reflection of success, she's trapped herself in a world where none of that exists. A world of endless mirrors and zero substance, where her only role is to watch her reflection live the life she threw away. The silence of the mirror world wraps around her like a shroud, and Sarah screams. But in this quantum void, even screams have no echo.
Exit Ms. Sarah Chen, who sought perfection in a reflection and found instead an eternal prison of her own making. A cautionary tale from the other side of the looking glass. Be careful what you wish for. Your reflection may be hungrier than you think. Something to consider. In the mirror zone.
Thank you for listening to the Shadowverse Chronicles original story and production of Mirror Mirror on the AI Wall.